This episode is about working relationships between bosses and employees. There is an imbalance designed into the boss-employee relationship which not only contributes to the Great Resignation, also known as the Big Quit, which we've seen in the news recently, it also creates weakness and dysfunction in the company overall. For comparison, let's start with a point of reference we all know. In our personal lives, we tend to develop friendships and professional relationships with people we like and trust, of course. These are balanced, peer-to-peer relationships where neither person exerts power or coercion over the other. That balance in our relationships leads to mutual accountability and cooperation. We enjoy each other's company, we exchange, we take care of each other.
Yes!
Now let's compare relationships in our personal lives to jobs in traditional companies, which are designed to subordinate employees to their manager. It's not a balanced relationship at all. The boss usually conducts your annual performance review and affects your future with their conclusions and the tone of their writing in the review. They determine whether you'll receive an increase in pay and whether you're eligible for a promotion or transfer. You have no reciprocal power over the boss. And if you complain to HR about the boss's behavior, the boss will likely hear about it and may retaliate by making you so miserable that you want to leave your job, or they just find a reason to fire you. The boss has direct control over your financial security and what you experience on the job every day, and there's very little you can do about it. So here's the thing. Most of us would never accept a relationship like that in our personal lives. That imbalance is repeated in jobs throughout the company. Any company organized as a command and control hierarchy is designed to create a one-way flow of power and control from the top down. Now, not every imbalanced relationship leads to toxic bosses, office politics, and stress. Most of the time we get a manager who is okay, not toxic, and doesn't abuse their authority over employees even though they could. Occasionally we get lucky and join a team led by someone who creates great working relationships and inspires us.
Yes!
Even though their place in the hierarchy gives them power over their team, they choose to work on a peer-to-peer basis with mutual respect and mutual accountability.
Yes!
Don't we all wish every job was like that?
Yes!
But there's also a risk that we get a boss who is a toxic jerk, an ambitious sociopath, or an insecure control freak. In a company that has hundreds or thousands of employees working in superior subordinate relationships, we are guaranteed to see some of these primitive behaviors pop up somewhere in the organization in some managers and executives who choose to exploit their authority. It's not just power that flows downward in a command and control hierarchy. Culture, the way owners, founders, and executives treat everyone around them, their peers, their subordinates, that also flows downward. Even though your direct manager may be able to shield you from other people in the organization, a toxic executive above can make the company a miserable place for just about everyone. Let's go back to our personal lives. Through friendships and work, and without really thinking about it, we naturally create networks of balanced peer-to-peer relationships and mutual accountability. These are the people in our personal network of friends and professional contacts. Isn't that what most of us want on the job?
Yes!
To work with a group of people whom we trust and where each of us helps the other toward shared interests and goals. So, what if an entire company runs this way? What would that look like? Well, it looks like the network of relationships we have in our personal lives now. It looks like the informal network of relationships we have at work, which transcends organizational boundaries. It looks like Airbnb, where guests and hosts are accountable to each other. It looks like an orchestra or a sports team, where everyone has a role and plays their part. In film production, the director is in a leadership role, but if he or she becomes too difficult to work with, is a toxic jerk, or an ambitious sociopath, or a control freak,
Nope.
actors and or the crew may leave, and the project would fail for everyone. As a consultant or contractor, there's no boss-employee relationship. There's no promise of a mythical corporate career. And there's no implied threat of missing out on a pay raise or a promotion due to a bad review for my not supporting a boss I don't respect. Instead of having a boss, I have a client, and in a client-supplier relationship, there is mutual accountability. Both the consultant, me, and client have a mutual interest in completing the project. Even if the client's project sponsor is a bit of a jerk, that mutual accountability tends to cause him or her to treat consultants differently, I would say better than employees. This is why I work as an independent professional. If you want to work this way too, contact me on LinkedIn or at freeagentsource.com. See you next time.